What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be taking a look at Avatar Frontiers of Pandora on my RTX 4090 this time. Now, I looked at this game yesterday on my 7900 XTX at 4K, and we're going to be looking at pretty much the same settings but on the 4090. While we're on that topic of yesterday's video, I'll show a quick comparison between the 7900 XTX and the 4090 that I made here. Let's take a quick look at the settings. So we're doing 4K native and doing the Ultra preset on the 7900 XTX and the 4090. And I've just chosen a little area here, and I'm going to go on the straight. We're going to look around this area, and as we can see here, there's a huge difference between the 7900 XTX and 4090 at 4K native here. It looks like around 65% in favor of the 4090 performance increase at 4K native anyway, if you're looking at the averages. Now you'll see this difference sort of, the 7900 XTX will sort of catch up a little once we start to use upscalers. And I'm not really sure why. The gap is much wider when you're looking at native versus using upscaling. But yeah, that is kind of interesting to see, especially for an AMD sponsored title, right? Which I believe this one is. Regardless, it's still pretty good performance from both cards. So here we're gonna take a look at FSR quality versus FSR quality on both cards. I'm just gonna run in a straight line just for a little bit here, still using the Ultra preset. And as you can see here, yeah, the 4090 is quite a bit ahead, of course, around 50%-ish, something like that, 40 to 50. So the 7900 XX is able to catch up a little once we start to use upscaling. Again, I haven't looked into it that much to know why, but that's essentially what I'm seeing here with the 5900X anyway. And yeah, but definitely, I think the RTX 4090 is like the only 4K 60 Ultra capable card at native here. Now, what I wanted to look at here as well was just to compare FSR quality on the 4090 with DLSS quality on the 4090, because, you know, I was doing this area anyway, so I figured why not. As you can see, there's not much of a difference. FPS performance is pretty much the same. Quality, I haven't really looked into detail that much, but to me they look very comparable. They both look great. So yeah, FSR quality versus DLSS quality on the RTX 4090.
Someone is approaching.
I think it is one of the people.
Okay, so we're gonna get on with it now. What we're gonna look at first is our settings here, and we're gonna look at completely 4K native. Here we've disabled the upscaling, and we've set graphical quality to the Ultra preset, which essentially maxes everything out for us. It's a good way to begin, and we'll turn on our performance metrics here. And it is actually quite possible to get a 4K 60 experience with the 4090. Now, there is some cases where that is not possible. From what I've noticed is there's these random storms that happen with a lot of rain and stuff. Those tend to be very demanding, and you'll see your frame rate sort of dip down. But this right here is actually pretty good. And again, upscaling in this game works really well, whether it be FSR or DLSS, so you could easily get some more frames, no problem. But I did want to check it out at 4K native first, like we did on the previous video. Although in the previous video we were only getting around 30 to 40 FPS on the 7900 XTX. Obviously we're not going to really play at that type of frame rate. But what I'm going to try to do here is I'm heading towards this outpost here. Let's make our way towards the waypoint and take in the nice... Oh my god, look at that. There's trees falling down. What the hell? I don't think I'd seen that before. What was causing that? Was it these horses? Or was that a bug? I have no idea. Alright, let's make our way to the waypoint, and I guess what we'll do is we'll throw some DLSS and check out the type of frame rate we can get with that. Alright, well, let's say we're getting some pretty good performance here at 4K native, Ultra settings. Let's try DLSS quality. So we'll change scaling mode to fixed and then DLSS Quality. Let's apply it. And we're at around 96 FPS. Now I did check this on my 5900X. I might do another, maybe a side-by-side between the 7800X 3D. I don't think there's going to be a difference at 4K. But maybe with DLSS there probably would be. I'm not entirely sure. Let's grab some more materials here so we're well prepared for the battle. That should be right up ahead. Right? It says 40 meters, 20 meters. Okay, so I found out that I don't know what I'm talking about. So I guess this here does not show the camp. I guess it's what you can do with the skill. So, okay. All right, we're going to move on. Okay, so it looks like we found a little abandoned outpost here. I think this is where the skill point is, according to my scanner. Yeah, might as well just grab that while we're here. I'm gonna crouch down. I was hoping there'd be enemies to fight here, but I guess there isn't. Man, this looks so freaking good. Seem to be getting really good performance here. Now the funny thing here is that I don't think it's even worth me checking frame generation because we're getting such good performance with DLSS set to quality anyway. Just turning frame generation, it's just going to run at 120 FPS essentially because it's going to lock it to my display's refresh rate like it did yesterday with the 7900 XTX. Alright guys, so I did a little bit of research actually to figure out what's going on and why I'm being locked to my monitor's refresh rate, and apparently you have to set window mode to full screen because I had it at borderless full screen, and that apparently limits you to your display's refresh rate, which for me is a LG C1 OLED TV, okay, 4K 120. So if you set this to full screen, you can actually go beyond that. So we've set FSR super resolution to quality. Our graphical preset is still ultra, and let's see what we get for performance, for frames. Anyway, so we're getting around 145 frames. That is amazing. I am noticing a little bit of I wouldn't say it's screen tearing, or maybe it is a little bit, but it feels jittery, and I think that's because my monitor's refresh rate only goes up to 120, I'm assuming anyway, so I can't really know for sure, right? Unfortunately. Or maybe it's an issue with FSR 3 frame generation, I don't know, but this does not feel as smooth as it did when I had it on borderless full screen, right? But we're just checking out the numbers anyway. As a matter of fact, what we can try to do, I'm going to keep heading towards my mission, but what we can try to do is we can set FSR to ultra quality, which should be just the anti-aliasing and not upscaling. So maybe that can bring us below 120 and then figure out whether it's FSR 3 not syncing properly when it goes beyond the refresh rate or whatever. I don't know. So let's set this to ultra quality. I'm assuming the ultra quality does not upscale. It's like a DLAA, I'm assuming. Okay, so let's check it out. Let's see what we get. Okay, so we're at 123 FPS. So I'm at my monitor's refresh rate, guys, and yet this does not feel good. It does not feel like 110 FPS. So I don't think VRR is really working with FSR, or maybe I'm doing something wrong. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to full screen. I'm sorry, borderless full screen, because that seems to work better for some reason. I don't know why, but it does. So let's see here. Yeah, this is so much better. The only thing that I hate about FSR 3 in this game is that transparency around the text on the upper left that shows my my mission objectives. There's like a transparency effect that seems to update at half the refresh rate or lower refresh rate. Just distracting, I would say. But other than that, I'm still very happy with the way FSR 3 is working. Frame generation, anyway, it actually looks really good. So FSR Ultra Quality, I'm assuming that's the DLAA, AMD's version of DLAA. With frame generation, this is perfect. Get over here, you pieces of shit. Alright, there we go. Oh, I ruined the pelt. Oh well. Okay. To be honest with you, I would probably still play it with just DLSS set to quality and turn frame generation off because it just feels great to me. Okay, so I ended up going back to DLSS quality. I turned frame generation off and we set this to fixed. We're still on the ultra preset. And I mean, the reason why is because I'm already getting close to 120 anyway. So there's really no reason for me to turn frame generation on. And my monitor only goes up to 120 hertz. So it seems like you have to play at borderless full screen to be able to get the benefit of frame generation and for it to look smooth. So it's not going to really work very well at full screen, it seems. Even though full screen seems to unlock the VSync maybe, because VSync usually locks your frame rate to your display's refresh rate. So I don't know what's happening with that, guys. But for me, I would play this with just DLSS set to quality on the 4090, and then on the 7900 XTX I would play it with FSR set to quality, and maybe even turn frame generation on to hit my 120 FPS, 120 hertz refresh rate. I think that's what I would do. So yeah. Alright, so anyways, guys, I think this is probably going to be it. Finally made it to my quest objective, but it seems like it's one of those investigation-focused missions, which is probably boring for you guys to watch. So I think this is a good one to wrap it up in. I mean, the 4090 is a beast, obviously. An expensive beast at that. So yeah, I mean, just from what I've seen here, it seems that NVIDIA seems to have a sort of an advantage compared to AMD, from what I've seen in my own personal results, but also other people's benchmark, like Bang for Buck PC Gamer. I've seen his comparison, and other reviews that I've seen. But still, I mean, AMD GPUs still do really well here. Unfortunately, the game is a bit demanding. Obviously, you can see why. So you're going to have to use some upscalers. Fortunately, FSR and DLSS work really well here. And FSR 3 frame generation works really well as well. So, enjoy the game. Thanks for watching the video. If you like it, give it a like. And if you want to subscribe for more content that's kind of like this, you can subscribe if you want. And thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Ah, that is so relaxing. I just want to fish. Can you fish in this game? I don't know.